Mayor, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for October 21st, 2021 to order at 7:03 p.m. On roll call, council members Balistrary. Here. Fakori. Here. Fasolo.
Here.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin. Here. Council President Wechsler. Here. Mayor Coletti.
Here. Thank you, Erin. And we want to welcome everyone here this evening. Got a special night ahead of us. We will be swearing in a police officer. So let's not let any more time go by. Let's get started. Could everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? And I would just like to take a moment and incorporate it into our prayer for a dear resident of this town that we lost tragically this week, Mr. Ron Vicari. So this prayer goes out to you also, Ron. Oh God, we ask you to bless our meeting, which you entrust your care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbors. Guide us in our deliberation so that our decisions will always please you and bring your peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that that meeting requirement for this meeting has been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record and Herald News of Woodland Park and by posting such a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building and notifying interested citizens. Notice was posted on January 8th, 2021 and published on January 13th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting will be videotaped on Cablevision Channel 77 on Mondays at 3 p.m. and Thursdays at 11 a.m. The video will also be available on the borough's website at www.elmwoodparknj.us. Erin?
Thank you, Mayor. For approval of minutes this evening, we have the August 5th, 2021 work and executive session meetings, August 16th, 2021 special meeting, and August 19th, 2021 regular meeting.
Motion, please.
Second.
Call the roll.
First by Wechsler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
I recuse on August 16th, but yes on the rest.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
I'm going to recuse on all.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wechsler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to resolution R-381-21, authorizing the hiring of entry-level police officer Stephen Arujo, sorry. Whereas NJSA 11A:4-1.3 authorizes the appointment of entry-level police officers who have successfully passed a basic course for police officers training course at a school approved and authorized by New Jersey Police Training Commission without the need to take an entry-level civil service examination so long as certain prerequisites are met. And whereas the borough meets the prerequisites for appointments pursuant to NJSA 11A:4-1.3, and whereas the mayor and council have determined that authorizing appointments pursuant to NJSA 11A:4-1.3 is in the best interest of the borough, and whereas that individuals who have successfully completed a basic course for police officers training course at a school approved and authorized by the New Jersey Training Commission may be appointed to entry-level police officer positions within the borough. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the borough of Elmwood Park that the following name be and is hereby appointed as a police officer in the police department of the borough of Elmwood Park effective October 22nd, 2021, Stephen Arujo, and be it further resolved that remuneration is set at the rate as per the 2018 through 2025 PBA contract effective March 15, 2018.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I will turn the program over to Chief Foligno.
Thank you, Aaron. Mayor, I'd like to recognize Passaic County Sheriff Richard Birdnick, who's here in attendance with us. Sheriff, thank you for your attendance here tonight, sir. Stephen comes to us from Montclair State University PD, where he served as a police officer for the past 4 years. Prior to that, he worked for the Juvenile Justice Commission as a juvenile corrections officer. Stephen, come up with your family, please, and get sworn in.
Good. Are you nervous? It's good to be nervous. That means you're not overconfident. All right? But that's all good. I would be nervous if I was you, though. You got a tough chief there you're going to be working for. And then you got to answer to your father-in-law. It's okay? It's all right. She'll protect you, right? Okay, yeah. You can say I, and then you pronounce your name. And everything after that. I
Steve Ruggio,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I would bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You want this ice cream? No, no. Thank you. He's married to me now. Come on, we can only hope you smile so long. So Mike just says he's got to hold his stomach in. Look at him. Does he look like he's got to hold his stomach in? We're the ones that got to hold our stomach in.
Thank you for sharing your son with us. Congratulations.
Just want you to know my ritual. Say Ken. Okay, we're going to have some council comments on what we just went through. Mr. Fasola, if you don't mind starting.
Sure, Mayor, thanks. Congratulations to Officer Arujo, and welcome to Elmwood Park. You're joining a first-class force led by a governing body who supports you 110% and a true leader in Chief Foligno. I wish you nothing but a long and safe career here in Elmwood Park. Congratulations.
Doris, would you? Yeah, please.
Steve, I already said congratulations, but really, you have just looked behind you
and those are Elmwood Park's finest. I consider them all my angels. They work for this town. They love everybody in this town. We're a team here. This council supports every one of them and supports you. Whatever you need, please, Mike's right here to help you, and all my prayers are with you. Congratulations.
Councilwoman Ballesteri?
I would like to welcome Officer Arujo to our police family in Elmwood Park. I congratulate you and your family and as you continue your career here in our community. I wish you great success for your future here. May you always be safe today, tomorrow, and throughout your entire career.
Thank you, Sandy. Councilwoman Pellegrin?
Yes, congratulations. Welcome to Elmwood Park. Congratulations to your family. You have a big support group out here, so that's a wonderful thing. You have a great police force that you're joining. They're the best, led by Chief Feligno. I can't say enough about them, how they keep our town safe and do so much more in our community. They're always there for us all the time. It's not just a job to them. They're part of our family here, as Councilwoman Wechsler always says. But welcome to our team, and we look forward to working with you. You're welcome.
Councilman Fakori?
Congratulations, Officer Rojo. Be safe out there. You joined a great group of people here with a great chief. I wish you the best of luck. Be safe out there. And everyone sitting here can tell you we are all pro police officers. So stay safe and a great job. Thank you.
And that brings it to me. We have a town here where we have a great police force, second to none, but more so, our concept of policing is not only safety and protection, but it's community involvement. And I think we do a great job with that. I'm sure you're going to adjust to that. If not, it might even be part of your repertoire now. Hopefully it is, and it'll be a good stay for you. So I want to congratulate you on being with us, and I'm sure you got a wonderful family, by the way, and you got to answer to two chiefs, one there and the other one sitting back there. So, okay, wish you a lot of luck. Chief Feligno.
Thank you, Mayor. Steve, no surprises, no shortcuts, no magic buttons here. Like the mayor said, community policing first. We protect and serve, right? We treat everybody like it's our mother. And you come to work every day, you do your job, you work hard, you're going to have a successful career. Welcome to the family.
A nice round of applause.
We have a 5-minute recess?
At this time, we will take a brief 5-minute recess and then reconvene the meeting. Okay, Mayor, I'd like to reestablish a quorum on roll call. Council members Ballesteri. Here. Fakori.
Here.
Fasolo.
Here.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin. Here. Council President Wechsler. Here. Mayor Coletti.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Moving on with the rest of our agenda this evening for ordinances being read on first reading. Resolution R-382-21, introduced ordinance number 21-25 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the 2021 Curb and Gutter Replacement Program in by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $325,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Wednesday, November 10, 2021 at 7 p.m., whereas soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law. Through you, Mayor, this is simply the bond ordinance that will put the funds in order for the 2021 curb and gutter replacement program.
Okay, thank you. I was going to ask you to break it down, but you did it ahead of time. May I have a motion on the ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-383-21, introduced ordinance number 21-26 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a four-way stop at the intersections of East 54th Street and the following intersections: 16th Avenue, English Avenue, Lincoln Avenue, Gilbert Street, Laley Arts Lane, Main Street, and to amend Chapter 7 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park titled Traffic, more specifically Section 7-21, titled Multi-Way Stop Intersections, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Wednesday, November 10, 2021 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. And be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Foligno, would you like to break this down for us?
Sure, Mayor. We seem to be having a speeding problem on East 54th Street. We tried some interventions there, and as soon as the officers are not in the area anymore, the speeding reoccurs. So the Traffic Division is recommending some stop signs, four-way stops on East 54th, because that straightaway from Molnar to Broadway is becoming a raceway. We want to make it safer for our residents and the people that travel that area.
Mike, how many stop signs are we talking about?
6 in total out of 18 locations.
And there'll be four ways
Yes.
all the way down? Well, that should slow them down, that's for sure. Okay. A motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll?
First by Pellegrin, second by Fakori. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-384-21, introduced ordinance number 21-27 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the 2021 road resurfacing program in by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,020,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Wednesday, November 10, 2021 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, the same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. And be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Foligno, could you break this down?
Aaron, can you take that one, please?
Yes, through you, Mr. Foligno, this is the bonds ordinance that puts the monies in place that will support the 2021 road resurfacing program throughout the borough.
And that's $1 million.
$1,020,000, which includes some flexibility with soft and hard costs, is not a grant. This is typically the yearly bonds that the borough takes on itself for the road program.
And that would be inclusive of curbing work?
Actually, the curbing bonds ordinance is separate and was previously introduced.
All right, so this is just encompassing paving.
Exactly.
Okay. May I have a motion on the ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to ordinances being read on second reading. Resolution R-385-21, introduced ordinance number 21-22 on second reading. Whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance to amend Chapter 7, Traffic of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, more specifically Article 7-13.1, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, September 16th, 2021, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 7, Traffic of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, more specifically Article 7-13.1, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets, pass on final reading.
A motion to open to the public.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public care to speak solely on this ordinance and this ordinance alone? This ordinance and this ordinance alone. Later on, we will open the meeting to the public. You can speak on any item you like, but specifically, if you want to speak, you have to speak on this ordinance. If not, I'll close the public portion. Motion, please.
Second?
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to our consent agenda this evening, we have resolutions R-386-21 approval of payroll, R-387-21 approval of bills list, R-388-21 award proposal for design services, Alimo Group Band Shell Extension, R-389-21 resolution accepting the 2022 Safe and Secure Grant from the Department of Law and Public Safety, R-390-21 appoint crossing guard for the 21-22 school year, Police Department, R-391-21 authorize emergency repairs, D&J Plumbing and Heating, Inc., R-392-21 appoint part-time violations clerk, Jolana Benzakar, Municipal Court, R-393-21 appoint full-time laborer, Department of Public Works, R-394-21 authorize increase in salary, Recreation Department to Sean Warren, R-395-21 appointment of Recreation Department staff, R-396-21 authorized release of road opening performance bonds, R-397-21 resolution authorizing the borough to enter into contract with DMR Architects to prepare a redevelopment plan for East 54th and Main pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 48:12A-1 at SEC. R-398-21 resolution authorizing the borough to enter into contract with DMR Architects to prepare a redevelopment plan for 7915 Norris Street and 871 River Drive pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 48:12A-1 at SEC. R-399-21 authorized summer camp refunds, Recreation Department. R-400-21 extending the towing license application availability at the Borough Clerk's office from October 1st to October 7th for the upcoming 2022 bidding year. R-401-21 approved 2122 new and/or used car dealership license. R-402-21 designating Block 1602, lots 2, 3, 4, and 26 as shown on the tax map of the Borough of Elmwood Park as an area in need of redevelopment, non-condemnation under the New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at SEC. R-403-21 designating approximately 1.08 acres known as Block 1103, lots 3 and 7 as shown on the tax map of the Borough of Elmwood Park as an area in need of redevelopment, non-condemnation under New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law NJSA 48:12A-1 at SEC. R-404-21 resignation of firefighter. R-405-21 capital budget amendment. R-406-21 appointing board secretary to the Cannabis and Marijuana Administrative Board. R-407-21 appointing legal counsel to Cannabis and Marijuana Administrative Board. And R-408-21 resolution to approve the consent agenda.
Can you please repeat all that?
Yes, Mayor.
May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Second?
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes, and I want to recuse myself on R-386-21 on Harry Wetcher's checking. Yes to the rest.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on, we have departmental reports, library board meeting minutes from July 19, 2021, and Recreation Advisory Board minutes from June 21st, 2021.
Motion to accept? Any discussion? Call the roll, please. All in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Okay, that's all I have on my agenda this evening, Mayor.
Okay, council reports. Councilwoman Ballesteri?
Yes, for recreation, they're having a Halloween virtual costume contest. So you have to submit a picture on the internet to them through their website, and then that'll be judged. There's 3 different groupings, and then the winners will be announced the first week of November. And next, we have Build a Pumpkin. That's October 30th, 1 to 3 at the Recreation Center. That you can also register online. And one other thing, we had even discussed at our Board of Rec meeting that we're in need of help for the volunteers for coaching. I know every year there's always a sport or 2 that we're looking for help. So please, if there's anyone that we need dedicated coaches for all sports. So if you have an interest, please contact the Recreation Center, because we would really greatly appreciate people coming forward for the children. And on Saturday, November 6th at 1 o'clock, Councilwoman Pellegrini and myself are happy to announce Council Corner can now resume. We had to put it on hold during the pandemic, but please mark your calendars. We hope to see our residents join us on November 6th. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Vicori.
Short and sweet, Mayor. Progress.
Thank you. Councilman Fasola.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to announce that the Youth Committee and the Rec Department have teamed up to host a scary movie night on October 27th at 7:30 p.m. The members of the Youth Committee were really passionate about this, so bring your blankets or lawn chairs. There'll be snacks available there, and they'll be showing Insidious. Some good news that the boulevard repairs have started. So from Market Street to Route 46, you'll see some repairs going on there. I'm very happy about that. And Election Day is 12 days away, so I urge all our residents to perform your civil duties and exercise your right to vote. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pellegrini.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My Board of Health update. The next free rabies clinic will be held Wednesday, November 17th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Firehouse Number 4 on Mola Boulevard. Any questions, please call the Board of Health office at 201-796-1457, extension 604. The next Board of Health meeting will be held on November 8th at 7 p.m. Residents Assistance Program update. On November 7th, the Azez volunteers will come to our community to help those in need with leaf removal. This is the 4th year they are providing this service to our residents. Also, with the holiday season quickly approaching us, we are happy to announce that the Insera family-owned ShopRites, for the 2nd year in a row, are donating 120 $50 gift cards to our WRAP program to help those in need. Also, they are stocking the shelves of the People's Pantry to ensure we have enough supplies to help those in need. We thank Mr. Larry and Sarah Jr. and his family for their abundance of generosity to our Elmwood Park community. We look forward to ShopRite coming to our community in the near future. So I just want to say a little something personally about that. Mr. and Sarah ShopRites are going to be opening where the old Kmart was. And last year we just reached out by a letter to him and say that our residents were in need for the holidays and stepped right in and helped us with these gift cards. And that's a very generous offer for a business that is not even in our community yet. So you can tell what kind of team player he's going to be once he is in our community. We're going to invite him to a meeting, hopefully in January or February, and maybe he can give us all an update on the ShopRite coming into our community. One more, Mayor.
Absolutely.
Lastly, last night I attended the Elmwood Park Hall of Fame dinner. Congratulations to all the inductees and their families. Also, Chief Foligno and Fire Captain Tyler Lewinsky were recognized for their heroic actions in saving the lives of a mom and her child. It was truly a proud night for our Elmwood Park community. Congratulations to all. We said this over and over again, but one thing that really touched all of us at the table last night was that when they showed the clip of Chief Foligno on the canoe going in the ice to get this mother and child, and then Tyler backing him and walking in that freezing cold water, and then the whole team of volunteers behind them. It was just amazing to just see that again. There were tears in everyone's eyes, and you can't deny that was really an act of being a hero. So again, we thank them and we congratulate them for all their efforts, because I don't know where they found the strength that day to do that. God was really with them, and we saw that, we all witnessed that again last night. So it was truly a great evening to honor those who have done so much for our community. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you for bringing that up. I think the MC, his quote, "Miracle on the ice," I think that was apropos.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Thanks, Mayor. Michael, too. I always call you family and angels, and you are an angel, and so is Tyler. Without you being in this town, I don't know what happened to the mother and the baby that day. But let me tell you, I consider you all Elmwood Park's finest and my angels. Second, I want to congratulate Stephen. I can't say the gentleman's last name. Thank you, Aruja. He's welcome to our family, and he'll be one of our angels. Mayor, we sat Monday night at the library meeting, and Mrs. Moeller had asked about bringing cabinets over to the library. I talked to Scott Cars. Him and two gentlemen, two employees, brought the one big cabinet over here to us. They will bring the next 4 over, between 3 and 4 over within the next couple of weeks.
Excellent.
So that is taken care of.
Yes, excellent.
Progress.
Yeah, I want to commend you for jumping on that. We had a library meeting, and Jerry Mola was in need of this information that's in these filing cabinets, and that's what we do here. We jump on things quick and get them done. So I applaud you for that. You may be thinking we're making such a tremendous deal out of what Mr. Foligno did, and he's getting praise from it, and there are different entities that are applauding him for it. But if you sit back and you think, what would I have done in a situation like that, where you have two people, a woman and a little baby, in the middle of the Passaic River that had just went through the ice, and the ice that is in front of them is breaking up as you're walking on it, so there's no way to walk on it. There was a kayak that was there from across the street, the fellow brought over. At that point, you really got to say to yourself, you're putting your life really in danger at this point. The water's freezing cold. You can't survive too long before hythermia kicks in. And all these things are running through your mind. So that's why the narrator at the presentation, he called it a miracle on the ice. And Mike, my final word to you, and I know I can speak for the whole council, is that we are proud of you.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Tuesday evening, I had the opportunity with Terry Sheridan to go to the regional VFW meeting regarding donations for the Vietnam Soldiers Memorial that we're working on. There were different VFWs present there, represented, and I feel it was a good conversation with them. They were very enthused. It turns out that the next 3 years, the VFW across the nation is going to be honoring Vietnam soldiers. So this is just perfect. It fits right in. And I want to thank Terry for bringing me there. Terry, by the way, is the president of the Women's Auxiliary in Elmwood Park. And I'm hearing some good things about the life of the VFW going forward. It looks like I think I could say it, a merger is in place with Fairlawn, which would get rid of the problem that the VFW was having in terms of people. I think it's something you're going to see in the future. You're going to see a lot of organizations merging together because the people they're out there, but today you got to worry about 2 incomes and 2 incomes plus a part-time job, and who has time to be a volunteer. So that volunteerism is shrinking, and this was a good move, and because VFW is precious to us, am I right? and this whole council has worked very diligently to make sure that we did everything we could to keep it afloat. And it looks like the life preserver's out there and we're going to be in good shape. All right, with that, I have nothing more to say. Erin, that brings us to,
A motion to open to the public, Mayor.
okay, motion to open to the public?
Second.
Anyone from the public here to speak on anything they would like, you're free to speak. Just give us your name, rank, and serial number.
When you come up to the mic, you just have to hold down the button until it turns green, and I need your name and address, please.
Hello?
You can't take
Can you hear me?
You can take your mask down, John. if you told me.
There you go, John.
My
Now
name
we
is-
see that good-looking face.
My name is John DiMarzio, and I'm the president of the Board of Health,
Speak so loud.
93 Lincoln Ave. On October 2nd, Saturday, October 2nd, the Elmwood Park Board of Health had our very first event geared towards honoring our seniors. And it was an incredible event. It was our first time, and the turnout, everything was just so wonderful. We had wonderful vendors, free food, incredible entertainment, a lot of support, a lot of networking, a lot of vendors, and a lot of information, which a lot of the seniors were able to take advantage of. And I really just thought it would be apropos to thank, just a few people. So I think that my thank you is probably going to take longer than this meeting, but I'll just try to make it very concise. But I really thought that thanking people individually was really important.
Okay, you got all of 15 seconds.
Okay, so firstly, I'd like to thank the Board of Health members, the Elmwood Park Board of Health members and officers, Clarissa Proctor, Jeanette Randazzo, Lucia Intrieri, Jeannie Freitag, and Terry Sheridan. Jeanette Randazzo and her family, Vinny and Jennifer, Lucia Intrieri and her family, Romano and Raphael and fiance. Our Board of Health Secretary, Deputy Clerk and Registrar, Marlene DiStefano. Marlene was just an incredible help, and she helped me with so much of the administration. And I think I almost pushed it to the limit because I just was a perfectionist, and she just handled everything so beautifully. And it made it such a professional, beautiful organization and department inside, for the Board of Health. And she also helped move barriers on the day. And she was just priceless for her help, and also she was a communication person, the liaison for getting the police department to really close off the street because it was a little delayed in that respect. So thank God she was there. I'd like to thank Council Liaison Lorraine Pellegrin and her husband Pete, who have always been ardent supporters of the Board of Health, and quite frankly the best Board of Health liaison ever, and a truly wonderful friend. And I thank her for her generosity throughout the years. And I do believe that even if I wasn't on the Board of Health, Lorraine would support anybody when it comes to the town and people. And I thank her truly for that. And mostly I really want to thank her for her friendship, because that's more important than anything. I'd like to thank Angela Kraft for serving on the board for almost 2 years and serving as vice president of the board for almost 1. I'd like to thank Mayor Robert Coletti for his blessings for the event. Police Chief Business Administrator Michael Foligno. He kept saying, whatever you need, and I think I kind of got it. And for actually helping to give me the ability to even think that we can even have it on Market Street, because I didn't even know that was an idea, but it was something that I just had in my mind, and you and Lorraine made it happen, and I'm really grateful for that, because it was just such a beautiful ambiance. It was so different. I'd like to thank Sergeant Scott for the traffic division, the Elmwood Park Borough Council for their support and for being there, especially Shakib. Shakib, I owe you a tremendous amount of thanks for your generosity, for the masks that we got for the Board of Health, for the beautiful corsages, and for helping me to mark the vendors' locations on the street the night before. That was just such a tremendous help, and it made it just, so much more organized. I'd love to thank Tanisha Dennis. Tanisha was our social media platform guru, and she just did an incredible job. And, it was always, logos, here's another logo, here's another, email address, and I think I ended up with over 150. And she was just a tremendous one. I thank you for all your time, because I know that just saved me from doing a lot, and I appreciate all that, because it was so vital and integral to the event. I'd like to thank Borough Attorney Sal LaGraffia. Sal has always been there for the Board of Health, and he's always helped with draft, ordinances if we had it, and to keep the language and the integrity of the ordinance. And no matter, even if he didn't know, he would get the answer, and he would always give me the best information and advice, and a trustworthy attorney. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. CFO Roy Rigatano for his resolution for donations, and Sal for your resolution for the event itself. Bergen County Clerk John Hogan, Commissioners Tracy Zer and Steve Tinelli for their support for showing up and being there. Patterson Mayor Andre Say, the over 50 incredible vendors, Diane Bromberg Stern and her amazing referrals. Leslie Greenberg she was the first vendor for me to meet. Rowie De Leon Mendez Connects for NPO and RJR Outreach for donating the flowers from Trader Joe's. Ken and the Boy Scouts. B. Peterson, Genesis Healthcare and Ridgewood Center and all the staff members. Brian Eckert, Senior Blue Books and his referrals. All the borough volunteers and any employees. Thanks to Sean Warren for holding the rec should the weather become inclement. Thank God it wasn't, and it was a perfectly beautiful day. Thank you to Romano Intrieri for helping us. He was one of the people from the rec center that was able to he was there for helping us clean up or whatever was needed, get the bathrooms for us, which was really important. We'd like to thank Angela Fava and Residents and Assistant Program for her 100 gift bags, for her donation of the wheelchairs and the walkers, and for allowing one of the vendors to raffle off one of his wheelchairs. We had the Elmwood Park Senior Activity Center, Chris Cobb and Marianne, the Department of Human Services Division of Senior Services, and Fonda Diamond Levine, who was my signing partner for the Pledge of Allegiance. Newbridge Medical Center for COVID shots and the third shots and screenings. Hackensack University Medical Center Outreach for fall prevention. Community resident volunteers, Laura Tracy Cole, Lisa Dolick, Amy Krowitz, Dana Bonadies, and Rosaria and Eddie Venezuela. Fire official Steve Kochek. All the generous donors there's so many to mention. The Blue 42, D&N Deli, Taste of Italia, ShopRite of Rochelle Park, and the Elmwood Park Diner for their incredibly wonderful donation and the wonderfully delicious food, which I was told. Stevie's Weenies, Balloon World, and Gourmet Home Cuisine for their generous discounts for the hot dogs and the balloon arch, and for the tents and for the chairs. They gave us an incredible discount and they were very generous. Sound Surge and Raphael Intrieri, incredible job. They offered a lot of services, the step and repeat, which was a cool idea. Ridgewood Symphony Orchestra, Woodbridge Quintet, and Donna Dixon, David Nesselbaum, and Nancy Horowitz. Fred Astaire Dance Studios in Oradell, Nikki Arconza. Connect Global USA Navia, The Warrior Princess, Holly Richardson, Jim Grinstead, Tiger Showman, and self-defense artists. Our wonderfully incredible MC for the day, WKTU's Bartell. Our 55 and over models, Lisa Dolick, Jeanette Randazzo, Laura Tracy Cole, Jeannie Freetag, and Judy Picus Reagan. Our fashion show MC, Marlene Masco, who did an incredible job. St. Leo's for allowing us to use their parking lot, and Father Raniero B. Agaluz. Pastor Ron for his lovely prayer and opening words. To all the wonderful merchants in the area for hanging in there and making the sacrifice, and for allowing us to hang our flyers in each of the storefronts. Tony Ann Taylor, Just a Love Story, and she was a photographer who gave all her services for free, and she took over 200 pictures, edited them, and it was all for hours, and hopefully we'll be able to memorialize that somehow. And she did an incredible job, and she's such a professional, and she was so gracious. I'd like to also thank the unseen and unsung heroes, the people that we didn't see that helped pick up the pieces. Like whether it be picking up a scrap off the street, or giving somebody directions, telling somebody, giving them information. And importantly, I would love to thank the Elmwood Park seniors for making this event happen, because if it wasn't for them, we would not have this event. And lastly, I would like to thank God, because without him, I had the platform and he gave that to me. So I'm grateful for everyone's help. Thank you so much.
John, that was really, really nice of you to go through that script like that and make sure you touched everybody. Really nice. That's a good thing. It turned out very nice, John. You know how I knew it was going to turn out nice? That day you were running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And I knew that you had all the bases covered that way. You weren't letting anything fall through the cracks. And I think you did a wonderful job. I think you're setting a precedent here going forward. This might be an annual type of event. And I think you deserve a round of applause.
Mayor, can I say something?
Please, Lorraine.
I'd just like to say something as the liaison to the Board of Health. John started with this vision months ago, and there was a lot of bumps in the road, like with any new event you're going to do. But he never, ever gave up. We had many conversations. I said, just keep focused. Everyone will come together and will help you. And everyone on that Board of Health, council members, everybody, the whole town pulled together to make sure this event was successful. And like the mayor said, you thanked everybody. You didn't leave anybody out. And you know what? We're going to thank you. We thank you for not letting your vision go down and keep persevering, because that's what made the event a success. So thank you, John. We're all very proud of you.
Mr. Fasola, would you like to say something?
Sure, Mayor. John, thank you. It was a great night, a great day. The weather held up, and great job organizing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fasola. Councilwoman Wetchler?
John, I've known you a long time. We've worked together on different things. You outdid yourself this time. Everybody that worked with you all deserve a round of applause, because let me tell you, our seniors need it, and every year we have to do it again, because this is what our town needs. We're all together now. We're not spread apart no more. We're family in this town. Everybody works together. Everybody helps everybody. So thank you, and God bless, John.
Thank you. Mrs. Ballesteri?
Yeah, John, great job. I was so happy to be able to be there. Everything was perfect, the weather. But even going back months before, when you did come up with this idea, and you were very aggressive with it, which is great, because you know what, sometimes people are like, well, you know what, they hit a couple of roadblocks and they say, okay, I can't do it, but you didn't. You kept going. And even, you know, witnessing you going into different organizations, bringing flyers where you knew there were groups of seniors, to make sure that they were aware of this coming up. So it was really a wonderful job that I know you worked on every day. And thank you for that. And I look forward to it coming next year as well.
Thank you, Sandy. Councilwoman Vicori? You can't say progress on this one.
Thank you, Mayor. Put me on the spot. John, I just want to congratulate you. You did a great job. I know we spoke on the phone about 100 times before the event, and I kept telling you, just be calm. We're going to get it done, and everything is going to work out, and it did work out. Thanks to a lot of people that helped out, but I know you were the head of it. Without you, we couldn't have done it. Thank you for allowing me to do a small part of it, but I was happy to help. Thank you, John.
Oh,
So, John, this was a rough ride, and at times you were like nails on a chalkboard to me. But let me tell you something. Your persistence is what makes you you, and that's what made this event so successful. I'm blown away by what you put together. I wasn't there, I was out of town, but the pictures I saw, the feedback I got, I'll be honest, I was a doubter. I didn't think it was going to come together. You proved me wrong, and kudos to you. Great job. Don't change who you are. Keep being who you are. Great job, John.
all right. So get ready for next year, John.
I'm going to get ready, Mayor.
Moving along, anyone else from the public here to speak? Yes, sir. We got to let the guy with the crutches go first.
I've never seen you before. You new to town, sir?
Just moved here. Hello, council.
Hello, Council. We just wanted to stop in today, see if we can get the letter, recommendation from the town. As we spoke previously, we have a deadline next week, so just wanted to follow up since we voted yes on that. When can we get the letter?
Okay. Sal, would you like to elaborate a little?
Yeah, Mayor, as you have realized tonight, you voted to appoint a secretary to the board, the Cannabis Board, as well as the attorney for the cannabis. Now, at this juncture, it's all in his hand. I've already forwarded all the emails that I've gotten from the gentleman and the outfit to Mr. Byrne, who is reviewing. He will be preparing a letter to present to the council for the introduction letter. He's dealing with that. He will be dealing with it. Now, I know that potentially they're under some sort of gun financially or whatever reason. I wouldn't be missing, I wouldn't say to you at this particular junction, to sort of move the matter along, you can, by verbal motion, grant and give the authority to the attorney for the board to prepare and have then the officials sign even prior to the next meeting, if you so wish, upon approval of the Cannabis Board attorney, by preparing it and approving the format of the letter. Then could be an anticipatory motion for you to approve and give authority to you being the mayor or someone else, the deputy mayor or president council, council president, to sign and endorse the letter.
So, are you advising us that we are capable of doing this without?
At this juncture, yes, Your Honor. Mayor, if anything, at this particular juncture, I think it would be helpful for the party to at least have a motion and a vote of confidence for the board attorney to prepare a letter and then present it for signature.
All right, Mike, do you have any reservations with this, Mike?
I do not. Mr. Byrne was here last meeting, and he advised us that a letter is appropriate, so long as we're not making any commitments.
Did you want to speak?
And
No,
I
I
think
need to do the
we're
motion.
holding these folks up, and I think it's a good move, and Mr. Byrne advised us that, and our attorney is agreeing with that as well.
Okay.
Mayor, I'll make the motion to do it. I make a motion.
Go second. Any discussion? I guess call the roll.
Okay, on roll call, council members Ballastreary.
Yes.
Fakori.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek, absent Pellegrini.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Definitely.
Okay, so motion carries for the Cannabis Board attorney to prepare.
Any and all introductory letters for any of the people that are requesting it, because there are three.
Okay. So the committee does not have to meet now.
Yes, it does. It's going to meet next week.
Next-
Sometime at your call.
Not regarding this topic.
This will allow the letters to be drafted prior to that meeting.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this supersedes that meeting. Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, I just wanted to know, when can we expect the letter? Because we're closing next week, and without that letter, we can't close on the loan. That's why
It's urgent. I understand.
and I hate to put the pressure. I know this is on you, and I know it's a fine line,
Yeah.
but the reality is, I want to bring the funds into Elmwood Park to help Elmwood Park.
Yeah. Just for the audience's sake.
Let's get something straight. You're saying that you're doing a closing. This letter has nothing to do with you doing any closings or anticipatory aspect of financing.
No.
That has nothing to do with it. You're just making a representation just now that you need this letter to close your deal with whatever you're closing with. That's not what this letter is for.
No,
sir.
what we need is the commitment letter saying that you're letting us into the town.
What I'm trying to say to you is you just made a statement, which that puts this board in a
I retract that
predicament.
statement.
Since- Let me finish. Let me finish, Mr. Lopez.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
Okay, because we're here trying to help you. But I am not going to let you or anyone else in this town or anywhere in the state put this council in a position that they're backed up against the wall, approving something that is not before them yet. Okay? Let's get that straight.
Understood.
Good.
That's not what my intent is. Our intent is to get the letter so that we can show that we have the commitment from the town, like we are committed to the town.
Yeah, and just for the audience's sake, we are not committing to this company. Alls we're doing, I guess it's a, what would you call it, Sal? It's,
Not for anything, Mayor. I'm telling you, I'm gonna stop being a lawyer here because I'm referring to you as Your Honor. And I'm giving you some higher praise.
Oh, no, no, no.
Although you probably could sit as a judge, no problem with that. This particular situation is that the state of New Jersey has approved this cannabis legislation. They're in the process of figuring out what to do with it, okay? They have appointed a commission. Commission is meeting constantly, making and introducing legislation and rules and regulations. Half of the state, if not all the state, doesn't know what the hell's going on. However, they did mention that companies can request a letter from a municipality where they intend to potentially do business in, okay? As an introductory letter, the council or the mayor can sign a letter saying that a particular company that is interested in coming into the borough who has authorized a cannabis ordinance where cannabis can be grown, manufactured, retailed, and sold, okay, and wholesale. That in that particular case, a company that wants to get licensed by the state has to present this particular letter, which is, one is a council letter and welcoming the particular and saying that you have no problem having this particular company coming in and investing. Then the next letter is a letter from the zoning official saying that potentially a particular property that they're interested in, it qualifies within our ordinance to be licensed. Okay? So that's the second letter. Those two letters are used by the particular companies to go before the commission and the state of New Jersey to obtain a cannabis licensing process through them. Once they do that, they are back to us, meaning the town, to get licensed through us. So there's a dual licensing process that is going to occur. But I want to make it clear and unequivocal that this particular letter does not give anyone any authority to do anything but just a mere introductory letter to be used by the state, for the state of New Jersey to consider a part of a conditional to their license.
so basically what this letter is going to do, it's non-binding.
No.
Okay,
None whatsoever.
okay. So we already passed it? I don't think there's any further discussion?
So how long do you think it would take to get the letter?
Mayor, the only thing I can say is that upon I really don't want to be.
Anyone else care to speak? Yes, ma'am. Front and center.
Please state your name and address.
Please down, Bart. Yeah. Hi, good evening. My name is Barbara Marquez. I live at 95 Elm Terrace.
I think she's got to get up on it, Mike, more.
Can you repeat your last name? I'm sorry.
Barbara Marquez.
Marquez.
Yes. I live at 95A Elmwood Terrace in Elmwood Village. I am here because of the issues that are going on in Elmwood Village. It's becoming really unsafe. We have a lot of children, we have a lot of elderly residents, and there are groups of children that are going around and they are fighting and they are destroying property, and the residents are afraid. I have an 8-year-old grandson. I don't even let him come outside to play anymore. That's how bad it's getting up there. So I'm here for myself and for some of the residents there to see what can be done. Is there anything that the police can do to work with management to maybe start a curfew there or to get some of these problematic tenants out? There has been a lot of police presence there. These children are not afraid of the police. They stand up to the police. That has come because of what the laws have done from the things that have happened with the police. I don't think it was fair for the police to have some of their power taken from them, because what it has done, it has given people a right to say, I can do what I want to, and in essence, you can't. Because it's not just about you, it's about other people too. I pay rent there, other people pay rent there, and we have a right to feel safe in our community, and right now, we don't. So I'm coming to the council to bring it to your attention, if it hasn't been brought to your attention, that something needs to be done, and it needs to be done soon. Because somebody is going to get killed up there, somebody is going to get hurt, and it probably will be someone that is innocent, that has nothing to do with it at all.
Gangs coming from other towns?
No, they're residents.
Residents within our community that you're concerned about?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes, Mayor. Ms. Barber, thank you for coming. We're very aware of this. We're up there multiple times a night. Like Ms. Barber said, there's a heavy police presence up there. It is getting out of control. It's challenging. We only have so many resources to go around. We have almost 24,000 residents. We have all the highways. We're very, very, very busy police department. We do over 52,000 calls a year. We are already working with management. We're trying to identify the problematic people, and we're encouraging them to start the eviction process. Easier said than done, but we're already, open that line of communication. I instituted walking patrols up there. I have officers doing hourly checks. We're doing everything we possibly can with what we have to work with right now. It's not something that's going to go away easily or quickly. It's here for a while, and we'll manage it as best we can, and hopefully management cooperates with us like they say they're going to, and encourage the people that you're talking to call us when they see something. Maybe start a neighborhood watch up there, but it's a handful. It's a lot. So we're aware of it. We care. You know me. You know how much I care, and you know that I don't let, like the mayor says, grass go under my feet. So we're going to do everything we can, and please encourage your friends and neighbors to call us when they see something.
Mayor, if I may also.
that you're bringing this to our attention this evening. I'm sure our police chief is going to rest without doing something about this extra that hasn't been being done now. So thank you for bringing forth to us, and we understand what you're saying.
And I do understand what you're saying, but it comes to accountability. So someone needs to be held accountable for the actions of these children, and it needs to be their parents.
Mm.
The parents need to be held accountable for what their children are doing. If the child is out there breaking somebody's car window or getting into a fight and then you're damaging property, somebody needs to be held accountable. And then they stop before somebody gets killed.
Yeah, I agree with you, and unfortunately, there's laws, and they're not that easy to read.
No, I do understand. And another thing I wanted to bring up, if I can,
Yeah.
is Gilbert Avenue School. In the morning, we have had police out there, and thank you very much for that. But it is really bad. The traffic out there is just out of control. The parents don't even stop sometimes. They have children walking and they're going. We have them doing illegal turns. Today, I witnessed one of the crossing guards. The man was so upset because she was waiting for the children to cross that he cursed her out. And he was getting ready to move his car to go out there because he did not want to wait. Today, there weren't any police officers out there, and I do understand that. But we need to have police officers present. They need to be out there, and they need to enforce what needs to be done. And we do need 2 crossing guards at that point because it helps a lot. A lot.
Adding another crossing guard.
To say, this is another instance where you see something happen, something bad happening. One of those cars, they're going to hit one of those kids or an adult because they do not abide by the rules.
So here's the challenge, right? We're aware of that. We've been fighting with this for years. And in addition to Elmwood Village, another thing that saps all of my resources every day is the schools. We are at the schools 5 times a day, 2 police officers tied up for hours at a time, 5 different occasions. We're bending, we're not going to break, but it's getting difficult. We have 16th Ave, Gantner Ave, Gilbert Ave, St. Leo's. We have a school on Kip Ave that is a Garfield school that gets our attention in the mornings and in the afternoons, and we have the high school, middle school. That's 7 right there. I only have sometimes 7 guys on a shift. We can't be everywhere, and I'm just as frustrated as you are. The more we get involved sometimes, the worse we make it. It's chaos for 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon, and then it's over. You know, we're out of options here. We honestly, we need more personnel. I don't have the resources to properly take care of all these things. We're doing the best with what we have, and everything you're saying is 100% correct. But it's a challenge. The town is growing, the community is growing, the traffic's growing. The schools should bring back busing that they got rid of and dumped a hot potato in the lap of the police department. All of a sudden, the whole bunch of people bum rush the schools every day with cars. We need buses for that, right? So, you know, we're left with the leaky bag, and we're doing the best we can. Trust me when I tell you that. I do not sleep on these things, but it's a challenge. And if anybody has an educated request or answer or solution, I'm all ears. It's a challenge.
Chief, can I say something? Miss Barber had an idea possibly because that corner is so busy. Maybe we would be some help if we could hire another.
So we've had 2 guards there. We are short crossing guards now. Nobody wants to work. We can't find crossing guards. Anybody want to be a crossing guard? Sign up. Come on. We don't have enough.
I liked her suggestion.
I'm the one that implemented 2 guards at that corner, but I don't even have enough guards to fill my posts now. Nobody wants to work. I don't know, you know. Jay, you want to? I don't feel blamed. I'm just.
Thank you for everything that you've done for Elmwood because it's been a big change since you've been here. So I
Thank you.
take my hat off to you for that. There's definitely been a change.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else from the public care to speak? Thank you, Ray.
Mayor, you know what's the sad part is, who's to blame here in both instances? Parents. Parents with the children and I don't even say children, they're young adults, some of them, in the apartments, right? Where are the parents? And the parents are the ones creating all the traffic issues at the schools. What's that?
Busing.
And busing.
That's it.
Anyone else care to speak?
Oh, really?
Good evening, Mike Dupus, 14 Phillip.
Welcome.
I'm back again. I was here a year ago about the illegal apartment. Steve Coaches put in a report, filed a complaint, went to court, went to contempt. I was here 3 months ago to find out what's going on. Nobody knows. I was told to put in an Oprah request. I get a letter from the assistant clerk, which also took me back because I didn't know we had an assistant clerk. I guess we never had one before. We need one now because our clerk is spreading herself thin with all her other jobs. But I get a letter saying that the request is not on file. Contact the county. I get a letter from the county building inspector. They do not get involved in anything unless there's a criminal offense. The apartment is still being rented illegally. Nobody knows where the report is. Anybody want to try and voice an opinion as to what's going on? How something can disappear, swept under the rug for a year? Actually, 30 years they've been having an illegal apartment there. But I finally got concrete proof, like I was told to, in black and white from multiple listings that it was being rented.
Do we have any information on this? You care to speak?
Yes, please, Mayor. First and foremost, when Mr. Kazmark was the clerk, he had 2 full-time people in his office. When I was the full-time clerk, I went down to 1 full-time, that's it, and then brought in Ms. Morris, who's part-time, who responded to you. I am now part-time, she is still part-time, and there's 1 more full-time person. So while I do handle a lot of jobs, I do so with less staff members than the previous clerk. So I don't appreciate that. In regard to the Oprah request, we don't have any corresponding records. I can't give you documents that we do not maintain. I don't know what is going on with the court matter. I can't give you anything that we don't have here.
With my email.
It's not our jurisdiction.
Whose is it then? It was
It's not ours.
municipal court. fairly good night because I have a president of the Board of Health here. Same house, southwest corner of the house in the back, up by the bees. There's a beehive that's about 1.5 feet wide and 3 feet long. I've called, nobody knows in town if we can do anything about it. I tracked down the owner of the house, I called her, she berated me on the phone for even finding her. I said, so how'd you get my number? Look on the internet, lady, you can find anything you want. But she had a few choice words for me, but you know, I'm getting bees. In my property, I'm killing bees all the time. I've had 2 small nests on my house that I had to take down. Is there any way, anybody from the health department, no? Can anybody go in and tell her she has to get this beehive off the house?
I would think that has to do with the...
It could be a health issue.
Excuse me, Mike. I would think that has to do with the county as far as varmints control. And I would think that would have to go to the county. And
Can the town notify the county?
I guess we can do that. I guess we can do...
Southwest corner of number 10 Phillip.
All right. Will we follow through on that?
Third issue. I've been trying to find out for the last couple of months if Riverview East or the Silver.
So they do not, and the building inspector said you made this complaint about 3 weeks ago.
Took that long to get there, okay?
They were, excuse me?
Took that long to get there. I made the complaint about 3 months ago.
Okay. All right. You want me to answer you?
I mean, I can't sit in my backyard with the tractor trailers running and the refrigerator units running. All you get is diesel fumes in my yard. I mean, where's my taxes going? I can't enjoy my property.
Right. So they were issued a letter, Riverview East. He would like to make application to the board for dual use. They gave him X amount of weeks to get the people off the property. He's not going to just kick them off. And that's in the process. They're doing an investigation into the gas station that you complained about, and they're having a hard time identifying what is there for repair and if there's anything there being stored or a dual use. So that takes time for them to investigate. Great. Thank you. Just if you email the building department everything you got, they'll be more than happy to take it.
Else from the public here to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is, I don't know, I got a big mouth. My name is Joanne.
In order for it to be recorded, though.
Okay.
Yes. You could just stand by.
My name is Joanne Dipple. Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah. I live at 22 Main, okay, which is in this redevelopment. We were all here, plus more people, at the very first meeting where you didn't put the house that I raised in the redevelopment. Last meeting that you had, nobody was here because nobody knew that that was on the agenda. And all of a sudden, that house was thrown into the redevelopment. So that's, I'm speaking on everybody's behalf.
Is the owner here of the house?
No.
Well, that's who should be here. I mean, that's where the gravity of the situation is.
I understand that. But these people, they don't want townhouses going in that area. They can see, they all own houses. I rent, and I'm gonna be evicted, and thank you for all that information, because they're evicting us from 22 Main in order to close this deal. So,
I know that's heartbreaking, but there's nothing we can do to stop them from evicting you.
but what, these people, you know, everybody wants to know why at one meeting, the house.
That was a planning board meeting. And that process has to take place, and the planning board gives their opinion to the mayor and council on the situation. The mayor and council was advised by the planner, special planner, that that house should be included for the sake of proper egress and ingress to the area. And the council voted that was correct, and that's how that occurred.
Okay, they have another house that does need to be knocked down on 54th Street.
Yeah,
It's a horror.
yeah.
But that's wide enough for the fire engines, the police, and everything else to get in and out. Plus alongside the house that I live in, there's a driveway to get in. So, again, I mean, I don't know if you go around and you see yourself, I mean, any developer could say that, you know, to get people out.
Yeah, we have to see, right now, we have to see the developer, what he wants to do there. Then at that point, we can scrutinize it. We're not looking, and correct me if I'm wrong, counsel, we're not looking for no high-rise back there.
No, but apparently it's in the works that they're planning on townhouses.
Well, that might not be so bad because it's a clean-looking environment.
Yeah, but it's in the middle of
Well,
a square, I mean, it's.
look at, look on Cadmus Avenue. There's condos up there that they fit in, they're approved. See, we got to keep in mind that when you own a piece of property, you have certain rights, and those rights are connected to the zoning. Yes, when it comes before us, and if there's new zoning, typical that's going on with this piece of property, the council gets to make a judgment on, and the call, and the planning board advises us. So it's an evolving type of a situation where that property owner has certain rights. Same token, we want to make sure that it fits into the environment, into the...
I understand, he has to get rid of the property. I think everybody understands that, it's an eyesore.
Yeah.
You know, but the point is don't these people that own the houses have a say in what goes on? Or no?
Well, they can. When this comes to fruition, whatever the plans come in, they will be notified. 200 feet radius will be notified, and they can come in and state their case.
And how are they gonna work this? I mean, I'm sure you're familiar.
It's automatic. It goes out automatic when the
I'm
process...
not talking about that, even with the sewerage and all of that.
There's studies.
Ida, that water was all the way up on my lawn. That's how far it went. They were flooded, I got flooded in the basement. How are they gonna put X amount of townhouses?
That whatever goes in that area is going to have their own retainage of water. So there's not going to be no additional water that is going to be added to the system, if you will.
And then what about traffic? We have people, I mean, there's no parking as it is on Main, well, 54th, Jan Court, forget, Spruce, forget.
Our police department does a traffic study on these projects, and they determine what can work and what can't.
So the residents, they don't have a say in that
Oh,
either?
you- absolutely.
We live there, we know.
You absolutely have a say. You're having it right now. So we can't really talk about not having a say. This is what you're saying right now. I'm trying to answer it. I understand your position, and I empathize with it. But I'm trying to give you the knowledge that we have in situations like this.
So they can't redevelop that into something,
That's, the owner has certain rights there. If he wants to exceed the rights, he's got to come for variances, et cetera. That's why we have boards set up, to analyze those situations. Like I said, I could tell you this right now, there's not going to be no high-rise apartment building there. And that might even been the subject at one time. There was talk of that, 5-story or 6-story building. To me, if you had a condo going in there, it's owned by a person, it's kept, there's contact between the owner, because he owns his own property, he will maintain his own property, and it's a good-looking type of a building, or 2-family houses. I don't actually know what can go in there. We're waiting now to see who comes forth.
okay, because they've already authorized payment to the builders, not the builders, the developers, to come up with what they want to put there.
Right, it's got to be approved, though. They've got to go through a process. So
So how long would that take?
it depends when it comes in, and then it goes through the process.
That's on the resolution tonight, to give them 15,000, whatever, to, you know, proceed with the plans.
Yeah, well, that was the designation of a redevelopment plan, allowing that to take place, which is your piece of property or the property you rent. So now it's a process. To tell you the truth, this would be the first time we'll be going through this with a redevelopment, and I couldn't actually give you the timeline. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else care to speak?
Good evening. Am I on?
You're on.
Yes. Hi, my name is Rhonda Federal. I live at 49 Spruce Street. I actually live, my yard faces this property she was just talking about. My concern is this. The last hurricane that we had, water was coming from that property and onto my property. So I'm concerned with, and I hope the mayor and council takes into consideration to make sure whenever you get the planning thing, that they take into consideration the grading, because I'm concerned about being flooded with my property. So, because I've been here for 18 years, and I never really had that situation before my backyard was actually flooded. It didn't come up to my house. I have above ground basement, and I had some kind of it was a water well or something that must have passed my house up. So I'm just more concerned with whatever's put on that property, because right now, I really don't like the way it looks, okay? So my concern is I don't want to be flooded.
The drainage problem, yes. But once again, any new development, any new project, one family, two family, the water that is received on that piece of property has to be retained with retainage tanks. So that aspect of it, you should not have to worry about. The engineering, I know you have a lot of different parcels of land that touch that. It's going to be a little complex, but the engineer is going to have to get it right and make sure that he's not creating any problems for you people also. That's what we should keep our eyes on.
They need to keep their eyes on that, and also, she mentioned parking, because where I live, on my house is 2-family. I have somebody living next door to me that has a 3-family. So the parking is a problem, I feel, on my street.
Any project is going to have to accommodate whatever parking it's creating through the structure. So otherwise it won't get past the planning board. We got it down pretty much as a science.
Can you notify us when you actually do a...
200 feet around the property. Sal, would that?
My backyard is actually right there.
Yeah.
Their backyard is right there, my backyard.
Yeah, you should, without a doubt.
With the planning board, when they did the planning, I just want to make sure I get notified for any future things.
Yes, it should be automatic, dear.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else care to speak? Yes. We're going to have a hard, I'm not telling you to take the mask off, but if you'd like to, it would be, this way we can hear you, but that's your choice.
My name is Michelle Lynette. I live at 332 East 54th Street, and I also border the property that she was just talking about. And when Ida hit, we got water again, and across East 54th Street by me, the 3 houses, they really got hit. I was just fortunate that I was up all night with the sump pump in the wash basins, and I kept the sewer back up from getting into my basement. But if that rain had gone even another 15 minutes, it would have gone over. And I'm wondering if the town is going to do anything to either widen the storm drains, the sewer system. Are they going to do anything before they even consider building on that property? Because right now, everyone's getting hit.
I don't think you can confuse the two. I think you got to separate them. The property there has certain rights. The person who owns that property has certain rights. And to answer your question, because I think this is more about flooding than it is about this parcel, And what I could say about the flooding, and if there's some of the folks out there, initially, looking at it from an overview, our town was relatively went unscathed in terms of what Garfield went through and what Lodi went through. Now, I know that's no consolation to people who had water in their basements, but you have to keep this in mind. At one time, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, Sal, you would remember this, Mike, you might remember it, you had Martha Avenue, Kip Avenue completely underwater with a typical hurricane like that. The former mayor, Mayor Mola, passed the baton to me. He was focused on having all the culverts and the pipes increased. The Garfield diversion was installed. And for the most part, we've reached a point of where we can't go any further. But when you get hit with a storm of 300 years, this whole state is not equipped to handle a storm like that. Our streets were designed hundreds of years ago. Okay, our piping was more or less in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but you're talking about an infrastructure that would take $50 billion to prevent what you folks got. And believe me, I know all about it. My son lives on Summit Avenue, and we had 4 inches of water in the garage. And that's with the proper drainage and proper tanks. And what we had to do there was we set up a pump, pumped it out into the street, and that helped us from the water not going no further. Yeah.
I just have a question. Did you get water before this storm?
The Floyd and Irene.
Yeah.
So only major events. You don't get water regularly.
They're coming closer. The oceans are getting higher, the rivers are getting higher. The last one was 10 years ago. The one before that was 12 years. And then the one before that was like 1977. So they're getting closer. And if that property is developed on, we're only going to get hit worse.
Right, but my point is, this is not a normal occurrence. When it rains a little heavy, you don't get flooded. You get nervous, but you don't get flooded. Right, I get it, but it has to be a catastrophic 300-year storm or Superstorm Sandy for you to get water.
300-year storms anymore. They're coming closer and closer.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So it's going to be like eventually a
Well-
yearly event, and I'm getting too old to go through this all the time. I was up all that night, having the sump pump, the hoses, going out to the street and dumping the water from the wetback because I couldn't put it in the sink.
yeah. But let me say this, one thing I did find out, because the day after the storm, I sat with the DPW director, and we went over step by step. We had a blockage at the Birchwood Deli, where the stream comes under Market Street. I'm sorry, the boulevard. It was clear before the storm, but because of the storm, it took debris and got to that bridge and clogged it. Once that was discovered, they went over and with fire hooks that the firemen use for pulling hot timbers down, they eventually dislodged it and cleared it. Within a half hour, that water on East 54th Street went down. So that's something that was out of our control. We jumped on it quick, or it would have been worse.
I still think unless things are done with the infrastructure, where the storm drains and that, any kind of building on that property is going to fall.
You can't mesh the two together because, like I said, any building on that property, the water that it would incur has to be retained. So it's not, if anything, it might improve the situation, because I don't know what
Call me a cynical girl, but I don't buy that. They told people in Oakland they built these luxury houses on the other side of the Ramapo River. Guaranteed them, the engineers, that nothing was going to flood those houses. When Floyd hit, don't you think they got flooded? So I don't believe. After Irene, I think they widened, they called it the culvert there, was supposed to take away the problem. Everybody got hit again.
Yeah.
Sandy, your nephew got hit, they got about 14 inches in the basement when I was on the 54th, and they're still cleaning up.
We're on it as far as keeping our the culverts clean. And as far as the silt goes, we cannot remove the silt from Fleischer's Brook without applying for a permit by the county, who in turn applies for a permit by the state. It's a bureaucratic, lengthy mess, and it takes time. Right now, we have Kip Avenue and Martha Avenue permission within this week, and we should be able to clear that silt out of there. It's a process. We're not sitting back and not understanding that we have problems out there.
Well, I just wish it could get taken care of before there's any kind of new development or new development around the whole area, because everybody's getting hit.
Thank you, dear. Anyone else from the public here to speak? Get a little closer to the mic. Speak real loud, like you're.
You have to hold down the button until it turns green.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Isabella Serwick. I live at 8 Main Avenue, and I agree with all the points that were brought up by the folks here today. Definitely water is a concern. That area, like the whole Main Avenue and Spruce area is notorious for flooding. It happens every couple of years. Definitely don't want to deal with it again. Feel like that was sufficiently covered. Definitely also concerned about parking. So right now I can't find parking in front of my own home. We really think that it would be a good idea if the parking was taken care of for that development within the actual parcel of land, and not having the expectation that anyone's going to park on East 54th or Spruce or Main Streets, because we already have a problem today.
Yeah, well, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
That is automatic. When they come in, there is a ratio for each unit, how much parking has to be applied. So that's automatic. They will have to, the builder will have to conform whatever he builds there to have ample parking for whatever is needed there. So that's self-contained, the water's self-contained. Otherwise, they don't get approvals.
Okay, great. Thanks for explaining that. And then two other points I had. I think the actual traffic is going to be an issue. Main Avenue is a narrow road. It's not as wide as East 54th. I think that it's already bad enough when we have big trucks from the DPW and stuff coming through, or a garbage truck. I can't even get around a garbage truck on my own street if I'm running late to work or something. So definitely concerned about the traffic. And to the point that was made prior, I do think that the outlet into East 54th Street is already wide enough for entrance and exit. I don't think we need a separate road there. And if we do have a separate road, I think all of our property values around...
Keep in mind, I'm sorry to interrupt you. The egress and ingress, they have to be wide enough to allow a fire engine to get through. So that's, 8 foot is not good. It's got to be whatever is required by the fire department to get in there.
Got it, makes sense. So hopefully, the width of the property that goes out to East 54th Street is wide enough, and I think it makes more sense in general for the entrance and exit to be onto a wider road. Lastly, I think that this whole project is going to cause the property values of ours to go down, especially if you put an entrance and exit onto Main Avenue. I own the property that, my parents own it, that would border the entrance and exit road onto Main Avenue. And if this goes through, that there will be a road there, we have to sell the house, because
You
we're
got
not
to
going
keep
to wait
one thing in
around for
mind.
the property value to go
I
down.
completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the people who own that property have a certain right You got to understand that. It's not like we can go in there and just take in charge of the land and say, you can't do this and you can't do that. Everything has to go through the due process of law. So something is going to go there, like there was something there. Now, you had a nursery there prior, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't there truck traffic coming in and out of there? No? Well, how did they move their product?
They use the other entrance.
One truck? Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a concern there, but I got to be honest with you. You're not going to want to hear this, but that's going to change because once again, something could be built there. You can't be asking us to shut a project down. We have no control over that. What we can do is analyze it, respect your needs when it comes in front of the planning board. Yes, we can do that. One at a time. You'd have to come here, dear.
Mayor, if I may, I hear the concerns of all the residents that are coming up today, but I don't think anybody's prepared to answer any type of question unless we have some concrete plans in front of us. So we can't answer really any specific question of a property that may or may not be developed. So maybe there's rumors out there of something going up, but unless I have a plan in front of me that shows entrances, exits, parking, I don't think this is just a circle we're going in round and round there, but may or may not be going up. So unless when a plan comes through, because we did deem it an area of need of redevelopment, but unless a plan is in front of us, I don't think any of us are prepared to answer anything. So I know they will be notified, I'm sure, if and when a plan comes up. But
Councilman, to your point, not to cut you off, the basic questions they were asking about drainage, those were answered. About parking, that was answered. Traffic, that will have to be analyzed when, as the councilman said, we got something concrete, determines where the traffic, how much traffic's coming in and how much traffic's coming out. So at this point, it's a little premature, to the councilman's point. Thank you.
Can I have the spelling of your last name? Sorry, I didn't hear it. Serowik. Thank you.
Yes, Council.
Just for the sake of the public, this council is listening to the complaints and what they are actually complaining, potentially of. However, it is not going to be this council who's going to review any kind of applications for development in that particular property.
Planning board.
It will be the planning board or the zoning board, and you will be notified. That's where you can actually speak more up to your concerns.
They would be here, the planning board and the zoning board?
Yes, just as the council is here, it would be the planning board that would sit here, or it would be the zoning board that would sit here and listen to those arguments.
But then again, they put the house that I rent in with the redevelopment when there is a wide enough parcel of land on 54th Street to get the fire engines or whatever they need.
That's done according to the redevelopment laws and the property complying because there was a study done. And when this council made that decision to designate that particular property as an area of need of redevelopment, it was with categorization and qualifying for that kind of designation. Okay. Anything that goes up there, it's not the council's jurisdiction anymore. It's the planning board or the zoning board that would hear whatever application goes before them for development.
And just to add to Mr. Ingraffia's comments, myself and the mayor are sitting members of the planning board. So if we did have a plan in front of us, we would be better prepared to answer your questions, me and the mayor.
Anyone else care to speak? Yes, sir. Jeff, you're going to have to yield to age here. I don't know who's...
We're starting first.
Yes, sir.
I'm
You-
Nelson, 15 Main Ave, Elmwood Park. I'm just here in support of my neighbors across the street, that someone's gonna take a perfectly nice house, and I know they can do whatever they want with it. There are developers, but it's a perfectly good house, and somebody's gonna knock it down, maybe. So we just, we join the ranks, try to say something about that. I don't think it's I know anybody can do what they want with the property, but, it's really a waste. If they can only leave that property there, the house that they live in, and, try to work around it. I know that's,
And unfortunately, our hands are tied with a scenario like that. We cannot do anything regarding telling that homeowner what they or she should do with their property.
I realize that. I just,
I know it's frustrating. I know, it's frustrating. I get it.
if they hear it, the person that's buying it, maybe they'll change the plan. And it won't get knocked down the house. I know it's not a plan yet, but whatever they propose.
They're going to do whatever they could do within the law.
Another thing with that street coming off East 50, Main Ave, I mean, I think if they're gonna do anything there, have that exit on East 54th Street. You can't have cars coming in a residential area, people are walking, there's kids there.
Isn't there a driveway there now that you can add?
Driveway now, but you can barely fit a big vehicle through there.
I used to go back there and buy plants there, yeah.
But I don't think you have to make it wider. I guess that's one reason why they want to get rid of the house that they're living in.
Probably, yeah.
I know it makes sense to me. I know it's how many pieces of property you can get in here to make it worth your while to.
From a developer's point of view, yes, yes. But we are very cognizant, as my colleague has said, we both sit on the planning board, and we'll be there when this does come.
The house was off. It was not going to be touched. Now it's back on.
That's the planning board recommendation, which the council, based on the special planner, advised us that wouldn't work for any type of a project going in there. And the council made the decision to include it in the designation.
Yeah, I thought if somebody who buys a property and wants to develop it could take into consideration that there's somebody living in a house. It's not a house that should be knocked down, in my estimation. I'm not a builder. But that's just my own.
I hear you.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir. Jeff?
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Tillman Drive. Let's just clarify something here. Regarding the planning board, which two members here sat on the planning board, when the letter went to the mayor and council, until you just said this now, it did not recommend that that particular property be put as part of the redevelopment. So please
Correct.
clarify that, because you just said something different.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
The planning board did not recommend that. As fact, if you look at the paperwork that we got from the...
Jeff, on the same page. You're exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, the planning board recommended,
Not included in it because DMR said it didn't need to be included. That's the architectural firm. It did when it came, eventually when the council got it, I'm sure that he spoke with everyone there, and that's what we decided.
the planner recommended that to us that night. The planner recommended it to us that night.
Right, okay.
But to clarify it, the planning board was opposed to it, so you're right.
Okay, the other thing, and moving on from there, I'm sure other people here have feelings about this, but not about what I'm going to say. DMR stands to make more money now here from 54th and Main, and also from the Royal Warsaw property, and on River Drive and Norris Avenue. Is there any particular reason why the taxpayers have to pay for that now?
Mike, you want to speak?
Developer pays for that.
Pardon me?
The developer pays for that.
Developers paying for
Yes.
that? And they paid for the first one also?
Jeff, so how it was set up is for a lot of these areas and properties, the borough laid out the cost, and then an escrow account was set up where they then reimbursed the borough.
Okay, because I know it said something different.
There was prior resolutions that set up those agreements for them to reimburse the borough.
Escrow accounts.
Mhm.
Because I know I saw at that time for the place on 46 there, and I don't recall seeing it for this, because I was under the impression that the community was paying for that.
Escrow accounts will be set up with the developer.
But the architect that's hired is the council's decision?
The architect is the architect of the development.
Right.
The firm that does the redevelopment study is hired by the borough, but paid by the developer.
Okay. Similar to the way the planning board and things like that. Okay.
It's not costing any of the residents any money, Jeff. It's not gonna cost the town any money. We're in
Well,
this
when you
going
see it on
on.
a resolution here, that you're passing that, and I think it's just mentioned, it sure looks like that. It does, well. it may say
Looks
it.
deceiving, my good man.
Yes, it is. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else care to speak?
All right, one quick question, which I just thought of, basically, Counselor. When Mike said that those two properties were applying for dual zone permits, they would have to put out a petition within 200 feet radius all directions, like I had to do for a building permit?
It all depends. If it's a variance.
Yeah, because they'd have to go for variance on it, so they would still have to go 200 feet. That's all I need, that's all I wanted to ask, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll close the public portion. Motion to go into executive, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL
Thank you, ladies and
1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss litigation, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires the confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting.